Although he recently signed a contract as a TNA wrestler, Kevin Nash may retire from in-ring action. The health scare from the night before his scheduled pay-per-view match on October's Bound for Glory brought on anxiety from fear of potentially suffering an injury in the ring, may cause him to rethink any future plans to return to the ring. He did get clearance from a cardiologist that his heart was not in bad shape and he's not at risk of a heart attack just for wrestling, but other issues are weighing on him. So it seems, at least Nash is suggesting, that the Bound for Glory incident was a panic attack?
That makes sense.
That he couldn't really deal with the Bound for Glory main event and also just feared he'd get hurt because of how quickly he got hurt when he tore his quad when he returned to WWE.
It's like the most reasonable shit I've ever heard in my life.
Because yeah, there was that thing where he returned to the ring, he ran down to the ring and he tore his quad when he literally got in the ring.
For like an industry that's full of gigantic weirdos who don't care enough about the logistics of this insane sport that they're a part of, this is the most realistic shit that I've ever heard any of them talk about, where he's like, it's just dawned on me, I can get hurt just from getting in the ring. And then I have to go and take bumps?
Well.
Insanity. Well, I have to go in and take bump?
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Although he had a strong match on pay-per-view with Jarrett earlier in the year, he prepared much more for that match than this scheduled pay-per-view match, which is on him. He knew it was happening. That lack of preparation is what led to the fear, which manifested itself as a panic attack. That he wouldn't put in a good showing and might get hurt. Friends, though, say that while he tries to downplay it, he has a passion for wrestling and will watch tapes in his free time and would like to be involved on and off camera for years to come in some capacity.
I mean, that's the most, obvious shit. It's we know that he tries to be the cool guy, but this dude, still to this day is watching shit.
Yeah, you're not, for all you can say about how annoying wrestling podcasters are, and I mean, podcasts by wrestlers.
Us included.
Hey, we are cool, and we are... Can't finish the sentence. For as annoying as they are, you have to like this thing to do it, especially it's one thing if you're doing the Kurt Angle show or the Mick Foley show where you're predominantly talking about your own career and just sharing stories from your own experience.
Yeah, Kevin Nash is yo, let me talk about Kenny Omega and CM Punk real quick.
Yeah, Nash is watching TV and commenting on angles. He's a nerd. He's a sicko for this shit.
Yeah, he can come into Punk Pro with me, Punk and Dickerson.
He can just be there for morale.
No, he can work. Not work.
Yeah, no. Put him in the
road
ring.
Agency.
So Nash does come back in the middle of 2006. So
yeah, he wrestles a shit ton.
Yeah, he wrestles pretty consistently until 2011.
And he has another Fed run.
He does do a sledgehammer on a pole match. That's on a ladder, but still.
What a weird reality. That was the time when people were like, is Russo in WWE?
Or they undercut the Summer of Punk by doing a Triple H and Kevin Nash program.
And everyone's like, why is this happening?
UFC has re-signed Tito Ortiz, who will be one of the coaches on the upcoming season of The Ultimate Fighter, as we mentioned. Mentioning this because there was some thought that Tito would be involved more in TNA, and obviously with him returning to the UFC, that's not the case.
I'd rather Ken Shamrock.
Yeah, former TNA headliner Ken Shamrock has signed as well to be the other coach.
Former TNA headliner. That's how I would describe Ken Shamrock.
He was world champion.
That is his biggest achievement.
It's the only company he won the world title in.
He was a UFC champion.
That's not a real company.
It wasn't even a real title either.
Pro Wrestling Illustrated doesn't recognize that belt.
He was Pancrase champ? Pancrase have title? I don't remember.
So yeah, no Tito going forward, because there was talk that Tito would be involved in the screwing Nash and Raven would turn heel and there'd be all that kind of shite. That didn't happen because Nash pulled out of the match and then they just strapped up Rhino instead.
Yeah, which hey, wasn't bad for the moment.
In a TNAWrestling.com poll asking fans what match they were most looking forward to a turning point, Jeff Jarrett versus Rhino finished last with just 4% of the votes.
Yeah, well, why would you?
Sabu versus Abyss and Barbed Wire Massacre at 34%.
I'm sorry that the build-up of Rhino talking to a camera for 3 weeks while Jeff Jarrett interacts with Christian wasn't exactly firing people up.
Christian Monty 29%, Styles Joe 24%. So people not into the Jeff Jarrett program.
Evergreen statement.
The November 26th Impact was good news for TNA.
Until 2023.
As they were back to their normal 0.8 level and 972,000 viewers, both figures slightly above their average.
It's really confronting how similar these are to AEW numbers.
The reason I included it is because they had a couple dodgy weeks where everyone was like, TNA is done, the audience, the novelty factor has worn off, the audience are fleeing.
It's the modern talking points. They are the same company.
So like they did like a 0.6 and 600,000 viewers at one stage, and everyone's like clutching their pearls, being like, "This is the end. Spike is gonna drop them. They're not doing." And then they came back 0.8, 972,000 viewers, and then it's like, "Oh, it's fine. Everything's fine."
Like the parallels are insane.
Like people, you always hear the dopey talking point that like, oh, the internet's ruined wrestling. It's like, what if wrestling Twitter was around for Montreal? And then you read this shit and you're like, nope, it's always been like this. And if you read like 1987 Observers and you'll read the reader letters from that, it's always been like this.
Time is a flat circle.
Like the medium has changed through which we find things out and complain about things, but we find things out and complain about things nonetheless.
Is more readily available. That's the difference.
You don't have to seek it out anymore.
Like, I mean, like, look, X. I'm gonna search the words AEW.
Yeah, read the first tweet you see when you search the words AEW on X.
Latest. CM Punk drama.
Oh.
At this point, it's a reply to a tweet about Punk getting referenced on WWE TV, and I don't know why anyone cares. I mean, the most interesting about his AEW run was the controversies backstage. Thought he got carried by everyone he was in the ring with.
Stupid.
Do you know what I mean? Like those takes are everywhere. If at Triple H brings back at CM Punk to at WWE, rip at AEW.
Oh, god damn it. The idea that Punk is carried is so stupid. He worked like 30 matches. Did 30 people carry him?
Yes.
Oh, well, fair enough.
And those 30 people were the fans.
Whoa.
Yeah, Wrestle Dream did a crazy pay-per-view number.
It did the AEW pay-per-view number.
It did better than All Out by like 20,000.
Yeah, but All Out was right the week after. All Out is the anomaly here. AEW pay-per-views do like 135 to 150,000 buys every time without fail.
442k pay-per-view in like a month and a half. That's wild.
While no decision is official, the current betting line is that Spike TV will be moving Impact to Thursdays within 6 months. The plan at this point is that
Is a betting line?
Yeah, Dave actually has a little gambling business on the side.
That's awesome.
The plan is at this point is that the next season of Ultimate Fighter will be a Thursday night primetime show as opposed to 11 p.m. on Mondays, and wrestling works well in conjunction. So most likely by the time the Shamrock Ortiz season starts, Impact will be moved before or after.
It's the DraftKings $20,000 pool. What day is TNA going to end up on?
Yeah, and again, that's run through Dave's website. It's actually WrestlingObserver.com/DraftKings. I'm surprised they actually don't have a DraftKings sponsorship. I think everybody else does.
Where's ours?
Yeah, we can gamble on 2005 TNA. Who will win between Abyss and
Sabu? I don't
Sabu?
even think I can use DraftKings here. I think it's like blocked.
We can actually gamble. It's fine. DraftKings only exists because a lot of Americans can't real gamble.
Is that true?
It's like it's been deregulated a lot more, but they're like for years, like you can't bet on sports unless you're in certain places.
That's crazy.
Whereas you can do it on apps here immediately, all the time.
I got like 7.
So yeah, they're moving Ultimate Fighter to Thursdays, and I think Impact would complement that on Thursdays as well. The primetime special did a 0.8, which is better than what would have been expected in a non-regular time slot, and Spike was once again very happy with the number, because the December 8th episode was another primetime special, because the VGAs aired on Saturday that week, so they moved TNA into the Thursday slot again for a primetime special, which had Christian's in-ring debut.
It's Christian.